I started this farm when I was 14. It became our family's sole source of income at 15. We always had chickens. We always were able to have a small garden. And I always wanted to be Little House on the Prairie, live, outside, just be.
She was a different kid. She had dreams, right? She wanted to start planting things and growing.
Ever since I've known her, she wanted a farm. She wanted to be a farmer. She has had such a drive to do what she does.
Where we're sitting now looks very different than it did 19 years ago. We left Los Angeles and I thought, had I made the biggest mistake of my life? And we got out and we looked up at that sky and just the joy of her seeing that sky and everyone thinking we live here, we could pinch ourselves. And then the next day, she wanted a place built for her chicken. She was ready. She thought she had moved to, she thought she had 100 acres, I think.
Having people believe in me at a young age, I'm I can do anything. And when you're young and you start younger, you really do think you can do anything. So now there's houses behind us. But when we first moved to this property, there was nothing but sagebrush. So it was just kind of across here before they cleared it, this corner. So it was just completely sagebrush and then one little house. So this right here is our beautiful compost. And this sign here, wait, we're gonna flip it around for you. So we call it the fertility goddess. Soil is the heart of everything. And I would have to say when I was younger, I don't think I saw it as the heart of everything. I moved from California. Our soil was chocolate, gorgeous. I would dig up worms for fun and play with them, right? When I moved here, I don't even think I saw a worm for years.
We had moved from the best soil and best climates in the world to the worst and most rugged and rough elevation with the 60-day growing season.
We're at 5,900 feet. This climate is a high desert, so we get cold, big swings.
The wind just whips through here at 60, 80 mile an hour gust.
The first year growing year round was terrifying. We sold shares and I walked in and everything was frozen, frozen, and you're oh my gosh, what am I gonna do? All these people have given me their money, these crops, but the sun comes out and it all thaws because these are things that can handle this weather. We do a lot of storage crops, root crops, cabbages, things like that we store. And then we have greens that we have figured out how to grow, mainly using Elliot Coleman's method. Winter Harvest Handbook was my Bible that I slept with at night. Everyone has to eat, and if you are going to live here, then I think eating from what you grow and what you do is something that's important. And making sure that piece is in the community and there's something other than Walmart to choose from is important. So if we're gonna eat year-round, then we need to grow year-round. And if we're gonna live in these climates, then let's figure out how to sustain ourselves year-round.
I don't like the word manager because managing nature is very difficult, but you can kind of try to direct the flow. So every year we look at last year in about January, right before we order all of our seeds, and decide what changes we want to make. What you do one year doesn't work the next year. Unexpected things happen. And really what I feel like my role here is attempting to provide structure to nature and Sara's creative vision for the farm.
I want people who are going to buy into the whole farm. And I want this to be something that they can come and really eat like a farmer, like the people who live off of the land. And so that's when we decided that we were going to jump into that full diet model. Basically, people come, they buy in for the whole year, And they take what they need to feed their family for the week. So there's no set amounts, there's nothing. We harvest what is ready for that week, we put it out, and then they just take what they need. And it's so fun because like kids are sitting there eating carrots and they're grabbing fruit, and it isn't like, oh wait, we haven't like weighed that, we haven't paid for that. It's like, this is their farm. There are a lot of people that can grow food better than me, who can, who are in a better area to produce food. And I think the piece that I wanted was that community piece and having a place where you could come and be a part of this.
I think if Red Acre Farm were not here and we were not the benefactors of their vision and their determination, this would be, I don't know if I want to say a commercial name, but a Walmart town. A Family Dollar town. That's what we would be. All of the shareholders, we just pay like we are real shareholders. We just pay a share, and then we are welcome to as much or as little as we want. I love the community that this model of a CSA has built. This is your neighborhood farm.
I never had a sense of community anywhere like I do here, and being connected with so many people that are like have a broad vision and want to make the world a better place and are passionate about agriculture and the environment.
We do burgers, bikes, and bands, so people can pedal out or motor. They can do either one. They get 10% off. And then of course we do our farm to fork dinner, which is beautiful. And kids, when they see vegetables growing, like when you buy vegetables in a store, like it's not as exciting, but when they like see it growing and like pull it out of the ground or see us harvesting it, they're like, I want to try that, I want to eat that, right? There's lots of different things that we do, but the heartbeat is feeding our community. I want other people to be able to do what I do, and I want them to be able to do it without the fear of legality. Farming's hard enough without all of the hoops that you have to jump through from the legal standpoint.
Sara walked up there with this bill, which is a story in itself, how we got somebody to sponsor it. It was to make herd shares legal. We're one of 3 states that have made it illegal. And when we got up there, Farm Bureau was opposed, Utah Department of Food and Agriculture was opposed, the Health Department was opposed, and the Retail Association was opposed. So I thought, well, we get to go home now because we're done. And Farm Bureau told us we were done. And Sara was like, we have a bill and we have a sponsor. We're not going home. And I thought, oh my goodness, we don't know what we're doing. And it passed, and it became the most talked about bill on the Hill. And herd shares are legal in the state of Utah.
It was a big deal. Red Acre Center really drove that legislation home, and it made a huge impact on the food culture in Utah and the ability for people to sell things from their own garden and from their own kitchen.
I run the center, which is our sister organization, the nonprofit. We've passed over 20 bills affecting this size farm, artisan producers that sell direct to consumer, making access to being able to slaughter poultry, raw milk, having a licensed kitchen in your home, or being able to sell uninspected and unregulated, kombucha, kraut, things like that. It's always diversification for farms small because there isn't a cash crop, right? You're always thinking, what's the next best thing? What does my community want?
As consumers, we forget our dollar is so important, and where you spend it and where you go. Like your $10 coming to my farm stand is a huge impact.
So for sure, this story isn't a story without my husband, her dad, Len. He was a finished carpenter, but he could do plumbing, he could do electric. We call him MacGyver and Martha rolled into one. And the words on his eulogy was, I've done so much with so little for so long, I can do just about anything with nothing. And that was really how he did this. It was always free materials. Every structure you see, he'd see something falling in a field and ask a farmer, can I have those boards? He could make something out of nothing.
He gave me such a beautiful foundation. And I always say this, is that a lot of girls my age didn't get to spend as much, like they're grown women, they don't get to spend as much time as they did with their dad. And I got to work every day, 80-hour, 90-hour weeks for years with him. And I think that's really a gift. And I think he'd, be cheering me on and proud of what we're doing. Wendell Berry, in his book Unsettling of America, I love how he talks about that agrarian lifestyle and how when that's the foundation of what we build our communities off of, how different a world we end up having. And that's kind of what I'm trying to educate people and show people and tell them that, have a garden, feed yourself, and feed your neighbor. And by doing that, we will feed the world.